Welcome in, everybody. It's the Mountaineers Now postgame show. I'm Schuyler Callihan. Joined with me live from the WVU Coliseum is Christopher Hall. Chris, West Virginia falling 78-72 in this one to Texas Tech. Both teams are now 15-12 on the season and 4-10 in Big 12 conference play. This was a big game for West Virginia. They needed to win this one. But before we dive into everything, a quick look at the numbers. West Virginia going 11 of 28 from three-point range, but a lot of that was done by Eric Stevenson, who went 6 of 14 by himself. 7 of 9 from the free throw line. Not very many trips to the line for West Virginia. That's typically one of the reasons why they are winning games and are staying in games in Big 12 play. And really the big outlier to me was the points in the paint. West Virginia dominated 42-18. Fardas Aimaq got fouled a ton of times, especially in the second half. He goes 10 of 10 from the free throw line. He has a double-double, 14 and 12. Jalen Tyson, 27 points, 11 of 15 shooting. And as I mentioned, Eric Stevenson leading the way for West Virginia with 27 points. So, Chris, was it just as simple as lack of physicality and just getting dominated on the paint, in the paint and on the boards in this one for West Virginia?
Yeah, and that ugly not making shots in the final 3 minutes. I think Stevenson took all 5 at the end, 0 for 5 there. At the time, he was 6 of 9 from 3-point range. So, feast or famine, I guess. It was just one of those days where they played correctly, at a minimum pace, and then most of the time it looked like they were just kind of sleepwalking. They went up 8, and it kind of looked like they took on the mentality that the game was over. And they know better than that. We're in mid-February. Like, we shouldn't even be having these conversations at this point. But it is what it is. You kind of put some of that on. It's 7 new guys. They have to play at maximum full speed because they don't know where they're supposed to be. If you've been in the program 2-3 years, you know where you go. You kind of got that advantage. You just don't have that advantage. So they have to play everything near perfect. And when you don't, or you choose to believe the game's over when there's a ton of time left, you're going to get beat. You're going to get beat at home. And it's really a tough loss because they've really pinned themselves in the corner if they want to make the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I could really take away from Huggins' press conference yesterday was that he said, well, Thursday was our best practice in a very long time. But I don't put much weight into that because you can have a terrible practice the day before and come out and play your best game of the season.
I mean, I've heard them complain about practice and then they come out and play really good. So it's really a day-by-day thing. The tricky thing with this game is the other team puts out 5 guys to try to stop you. So that makes it a little tricky when you're trying to win a game. They're trying to stop you from doing it.
But I mean, to me, I think that the thing that really kind of needs answered is we hear Huggins say it time and time again, like, I think he's like, they realize that they've got to win games. They realize that. They don't want to go and have it be like it was last year, or some guys like Eric, who's never been to the NCAA tournament. This is their last chance. Yet they're not playing like this is their last chance. When do they realize that? Is it going to get to a point where it's going to be too late?
I mean, we're getting there. I don't know if it's not. It's just not. I think it kind of goes back. It's not a will to win. You're just playing against guys that's been in the programs for at least 2 years. You're playing against that know each other. That just has that advantage. Huggins was more agitated than usual in the post game, and you kind of look back. Emmett has that turnover that after a bucket just throws it out of bounds. Doesn't see the floor again. That probably hurts a lot of things right there. You needed Emmett not going for the rebound after the free throw. Huggins was really about on that as well. You can't give up 3 offensive rebounds in one possession. It just kind of. It's not that I don't think that they've done it at times where they're kind of looking for someone else to make a play, and they're sitting there watching. And when rebounds happen, that's just youth. That's James, that's Mo, that's Pat, that's whoever's down low. And this is Jimmy's first year in a big league conference. So it just seems like a lot of guys are kind of waiting for someone else to make a play. Stevenson was doing it there for a while. And then when he couldn't make the plays down the stretch, there was just nothing else to help. I mean, you have to make shots. No one else was getting off any shots. So it's a weird day, a weird game. And unfortunately, it didn't fall in West Virginia's favor.
Yeah, you go back to that first matchup in Lubbock, and West Virginia dominated the boards. They protected the rim, did everything pretty much opposite today. I mean, that first matchup, they out rebounded Texas Tech 44-27. They got out rebounded by 11 today. They gave up 15 offensive rebounds today. I mean, that's just a recipe for a loss, is it not?
Yeah, I mean that's what it was. It was perfect ingredients for a home loss, and it's a tough one to take because Stevenson was the only one that came out of post game, and he knows they let one get away. He knows they let one get. I mean, that's a win. You needed that win. You had to have that win, and now you're looking to probably have to go steal one at Kansas and Iowa State. Good luck, because it's not going to happen. So, and I think that's part of the problem too, is because they know they weren't good enough and to go in there. So if they think you're going to steal one, probably not. And they've struggled with Oklahoma State of late. Is this going to carry over to Monday? Is that the season? This team's going to rip apart? We'll find out. Because the wild thing is, they can finish off at home, but this conference is tough. But we've seen teams get second wins in the postseason. We've seen teams do it in the Big 12 conference that start ripped off a few wins to get in. West Virginia's done it in the past. So not always lost, but man, the schedule doesn't get easier. This was a must-have today. Now you're right there tied with this guys, and now you have no chance to get in the top six. So
yeah, and Oklahoma State's been playing extremely well recently, and like Huggins said in his post game with Tony Caridi, they're very athletic, and that could be a very big mismatch problem that they present on Monday, especially on short rest. I'll see how they turn around. But last thing before we get out of here, given the current situation, if West Virginia loses on Monday, outside of winning the conference tournament, do you feel like their chances of making the tournament are pretty much doomed at that point?
Yeah, you'd have to not win out per se, but yeah, if you win out regular season, you're in. You know what I mean? So they wouldn't technically be out, just like they're not technically out now. But this starts that nail in the coffin. Because they're 1-15 last 2 years in road games, and the only team that you beat was Texas Tech, and they just beat you. Kansas is playing lights out right now. Iowa State definitely wants revenge. They feel they got hosed here by officiating, so those could be combined losses of 50+ points. So you're coming home to play at Kansas State.
Really?
Yeah, you may get. Yeah, there may not be a chance for a second win come postseason, because that may just crush any confidence that they have. So you win this and you go lose by a combined 50 points, not so bad. But I don't know where they go from here because they've steadily improved all year, but they're not going to make drastic improvements now.
No.
All you can do is make shots. They've done things. They have improved taking care of the ball. They got better rebounding throughout the year. Free throws were a disaster to start Big 12 play, but for the most part, since then, they've been fine. And they were fine at the beginning of the year. So sometimes it's stupid as it sounds. We hear Huggins say all the time, just didn't make shots. That's kind of what it was today. But you can add in that turnover and just poor rebounding.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you are what you are. I don't think you're going to get much better or worse at this point in the season. Your record is pretty much what you are. So, again, West Virginia falling to Texas Tech 78-72. They're 15-12, 4-10 on the season in Big 12 play. That'll do it for us today. We'll be back Monday after the Oklahoma State game, but we'll also have our first edition of the post-game show for baseball. We're going to do that probably once a week or after each 3-game series. West Virginia taking on Georgia Southern right now in their season opener series down there in Georgia. So we'll have that recap for you guys tomorrow. So until then, we'll see you guys then.